Prepare yourself for Earthling Entertainment, the perfect blend of paranormal and pop culture, with your host, Joe Wakefield and Ryan Lang.
Greetings, fellow Earthlings, and welcome to another episode of Earthling Entertainment with your hosts, Joe Wakefield and Ryan Lang.
That's right. I'm your host who may have been abducted by aliens last night. I mean, there's no proof, but is there ever? Joe Wakefield.
I'm not even here right now. I'm on a cruise. Hi, I'm Ryan.
It's true. It's true. We actually had to record this episode a few days early because Ryan is on a fancy cruise. He's almost like one of the stars you see up in the night sky that died thousands of years ago, but the light has just now reached us.
That's right. I'll keep my eyes peeled for any sea monsters.
Yeah.
And I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, it's important. If you just happen to come across a kraken and you don't die, I think our listeners would like to know.
Hopefully not Cthulhu.
Yeah, well, if I think the world is kind of screwed if Cthulhu shows up, but fair. Hey, if you guys are returning listeners, welcome back to the show. Do us a favor and make sure to download this episode wherever you get your podcasts. It's actually the best way to support the show.
That's right.
That's right. And for those of you who are new listeners, let me tell you what it is we do here. Our first half of the show is all paranormal, and our second half is all pop culture. So in the first half, we do a little thing that's a little spooky, a little creepy. Sometimes it's cryptozoology, other times it's a haunting, a myth, or a legend, but it's always spooky. That's why it's in our first section, spooky stuff. That, of course, is followed by a second thing called disclosure discussion. That one's all about aliens.
I'm just asking questions about UFOs and aliens, extraterrestrials, anything like that. Today we're going to be talking about something that was said, which I found to be rather interesting at the congressional hearing.
Oh, vague and mysterious. I love it.
Yes.
Well, right after that, we have a little thing called Real World Weird. When there's an article about something that's strange but doesn't quite fall into our paranormal category, that's where we do that one. Then, the second half of the show, the latter half, if you will, is all dedicated to pop culture and entertainment. Sometimes we have celebrity guests. Other times we have quiz games, or we have celebrity deaths, or we talk about genre news. Today, we actually have one of those celebrity guests. Yeah, very fancy. Her name is Debbie Rochon, and she is a scream queen who has over 270 credits. Like,
Dude.
she works. She's done a lot of stuff with Trauma. She was in Toxic Avenger 4. So many things, but we'll talk more about that in the second half of the show.
270.
I know. I was impressed when I was like, yeah, you got like
That's insane.
close to 20. Yeah, no.
Like,
yeah.
what a grind. So did you know that there's like a dinosaur theme park that's closing and they are just selling all of the life-size dinosaurs? So like we could go get a dinosaur. Like,
I mean, that makes sense, right? Like, what would you do? I mean, there's gonna be weirdos who want to put it in their front lawn. I'm one of those people. Maybe they're like, if you own a gas station in the middle of effing nowhere in a small town, like you get a couple dinosaurs, you put it around your gas station, suddenly you're a tourist destination,
I mean,
man.
yeah,
What-
it's in New Jersey.
The dinosaur park?
Yeah.
We were just there.
We could have got a dinosaur.
Okay. Tell me more. What's the name of this dinosaur park that no longer exists?
I'm not seeing a name.
How many could there be, right?
Right. So,
What dinosaur would you get?
oh my gosh, that's a great question. I mean, T-Rex like comes to mind, but I'll bet that's going to be the most expensive one.
It's probably also going to be like the most coveted.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So I would probably try to maybe go a little off the beaten path,
Okay.
like an iguanodon.
Ooh, I want a Dilophosaurus.
Dilophosaurus, that'd
Yeah.
be a cool one.
Yeah, and I like it because it's big enough that it's crazy, but it's manageable. Like you could put that in the back of a pickup and drive it. You know what I mean? The problem with the T-Rex is you have to also pay for shipping, Ryan.
Well, and that's the thing is these things are absolutely enormous.
It's there are people that do it. I watch because
It's about $3,000
for what?
for a dinosaur.
Yeah, it would probably cost $3,000 to ship that damn dinosaur. I was watching American Pickers, man, and they'll buy a broken up car. They're like, I could only give you this because it's going to cost $5,000 to ship. And I'm thinking, what companies do you? I mean, I guess flatbed companies. I don't know, man. Do you bring up your Do you cut your dinosaur in pieces?
I don't think they come apart.
They have to come apart unless they were like molded there or built there.
I don't know. It seems but it does say yes. You need to have a way to get it out, and they are very, 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 very big.
If they're making us haul them, then they should give that away for free. I'm just saying, it should be like a Craigslist dryer. Come get rid of this, man. Go get rid of this Dilophosaurus.
Dude, right? No, that's awesome. So, what's your favorite dinosaur, really?
Oh, it's hard to say because, like, from when I was a kid to now, we've learned so much about dinosaurs that they don't really look the way that we think they did, and it's kind of hard because
That's true.
you can't pinpoint what your favorite is if you don't actually have a clear idea of what they look like. But I guess I always liked, and I don't know the name, but it's on all fours and it's got kind of like a hammer on its tail and little spikes along.
Ankylosaurus?
I think Ankylosaurus. I always liked the Ankylosaurus.
Oh yeah. No, my kid's way into this. So, I love the Mosasaurus, which is the water
Ah.
dwelling. It's like almost like amphibious almost too.
I mean,
Like,
the Mosasaurus is amphibious. It's like the
yeah.
whale shark thing from
And
like the movie, right?
yeah, but obviously they made it way bigger than they were.
Yeah,
But
yeah, fair enough.
they've been found in every period of dinosaurs. Like around, like they found that
That they
they've
lived for a long
always
time.
been around.
That
Like,
makes sense though, because sharks have been around for a very long time, right? Like ocean dwelling creatures seem to be like just live longer.
dude, could you imagine that thing? Like seeing one of those
You
in the
know,
wild.
while that would be horrifying, I'm not really the kind of guy who wants to swim the ocean, and I'm always afraid of being eaten by giant creatures. So I think it would be as
Yeah,
scary as a shark for me.
yeah, because I knew you didn't like flying, but
Yeah.
you also don't like boating.
No, I mean,
So you're
I-
kind of stuck.
that's fair enough. Okay, so you're right. I don't like flying, but I am willing to fly. And you're right. I don't love being on the water, but I would do that too. It depends, man. Like if I was to take a trip to Hawaii or I had to shoot a movie overseas, of course I would travel. But yeah, I might sedate myself completely. Just absolutely.
Oh my god.
But as far
20 more hours to go.
I need to be sedated.
That's right. That's right.
As far as this dinosaur park is concerned, that is just such a fun idea, right? Because you can get just little rides and have these giant dinosaurs, and suddenly you have a theme park. Now,
Yeah.
it may have worn thin because obviously this place went out of business, but what would you do? Like, if you had the endless amount of money and you could make any kind of theme park, and when I say theme park, I mean not just roller coasters, like theme, like a theme park. Like, what would your theme be? Be like Under the Sea or Miners or whatever. You could do whatever the hell you wanted.
Oh man. I mean, honestly, like just to be honestly, the best answer I got is I would actually make a straight up Star Wars land.
Yeah.
Like it
yeah.
would be better than Galaxy's Edge. Like it would kick ass. It would be like really,
Fair
really
enough.
good.
Well, what would you change? It would just be besides everything being too expensive. Would it be just more planets, more
It'll
creatures?
just
Like
be-
I've never been to Galaxy Edge. I'm not sure.
Well, when you're there, it's its own planet, and I forget exactly what it's called offhand right now. But what I would do is I would do it like in this section you're on Hoth, and it would be all like snowy and
Sure,
ice themed and stuff, and then this section is Tatooine, and you're literally walking like in friggin' sand and stuff like that, like straight up.
I like it. I like it. Would you do Crate? That was the planet at the end of The Last Jedi that was salt, and under the salt was the red soil.
I wouldn't personally, but we should just because you've got like that would be a cool effect if you could get that to work. So that you know what I mean? Like,
With the Imagineers of Disney,
That's what I'm saying.
You gotta steal them away if you're gonna make your theme park.
it would be a good idea to have that just so it includes the new movies, right?
Sure,
So that would be kind of cool. That's not a bad one. But then I'd want like another one that would be Dagobah. It has to be.
Oh, the swamp one.
Yeah, like
So you gotta have a water ride, obviously, in that area.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. You're gonna have the water ride. R2D2 is gonna fly over the top of you.
Nice.
Wow.
You know, Dagobah, the whole system of Dagobah, the whole swamp planet, the whole meeting of Yoda, that when I was a kid was so impactful to me that like when I think
Yes.
of like fantasy movies or fantasy worlds, that's the image that pops in my head.
Dude, I
Every
have to
single
agree.
time.
My kids made me replay it over and over and over
Just
again,
that
so
scene?
it still works. Just especially Yoda.
Yeah,
Just
fair
the
enough.
mine.
Mine. Yeah. Well, okay. So for me though, just to switch gears, if I could do any theme park, man, you know what would be awesome? Tromaville. Like actual Tromaville from the Troma films, where you can go to Toxie's house at the dump. You can go to the high school from Class of Nukem High and all the strange, and it'll be like kind of like an adult themed horror theme parks. So kind of like Halloween Horror Nights, but all the time. You know, a lot of weird haunted houses and just over the top makeup and gore and just really crazy themed rides. Like the whole idea for me would be something you can't get other places. And that would be a niche, right? Because you got roller coasters, and for the roller coaster people, you got kiddie parks like Legoland is kind of really kind of for smaller children. And you have like kind of the mid-range families, and then you have Six Flags, which is kind of like the older people. I'm just saying, if you get the horror aspect, that's something that's not really there except for once a year, right?
Right, right. No, so it would be year round. You can go to that would honestly do really well, I
I
think.
think so. I gotta talk to Lloyd Kaufman. I don't know. Trauma's on my mind because we have that interview, and she worked with Trauma so much that I rewatched a lot of the Toxic Avenger films. I watched the second one, the fourth one, and then the new one with Kevin Bacon and Elijah Wood and Peter Dinklage.
Nice. Yes, I did hear about that. I do want to watch it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, to be fair, that one is actually queued up. I have purchased, have not watched yet. We're gonna review it, Ryan.
Hell yeah. I literally ran into the dude who did all those movies.
Lloyd Kaufman.
Yeah, and I literally ran into him because I was at a con and I had to get like out of the way of a bunch of people rushing by. And I just ended up being like shoulder to shoulder, and I look over and I knew exactly who he was. And I was just like, oh man, I couldn't help myself, just blurted it out. I was just like, oh man, I was really hoping to see you here. And he's like, I've been right here waiting for you.
The whole time. Yeah, for
He
those
was
of you who
awesome.
don't know, Lloyd Kaufman is the, lack of a better term, the owner and the operator of Trauma Studios, and he's doing it for like 40 years, and he is just a really, really nice guy. You know what? Stick around for the interview, man. Debbie tells this great story about how she got Lloyd a part in one of her films, and it was not what he expected, and it's
Oh.
pretty hilarious. But
Interesting.
once again, that comes later. I don't mean to keep bringing that up, but you know what? Let's just start the show. Let's get to it. Are you ready to do spooky stuff?
Oh, dude, this is going to be a good one. So I'm going to be on a cruise, like I said. So today we're going to go a little nautical.
Ooh, what does that mean?
You'll see.
Excellent. So, guys, sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's spooky stuff.
So you're a sailor, or maybe even a pirate.
I prefer to be called a seaman.
Okay. Several weeks out to sea, you come across another ship that seems to be acting strangely.
Uh-oh.
Getting a closer look, you realize it is floating adrift, with no sign whatsoever of its crew. It's a ghost ship. Ghost ships, also known as phantom ships, are vessels that are found derelict at sea with no crew aboard and nothing to explain what happened to them. While it sounds like stuff of legend and fuel for seafarers' nightmares, ghost ships are real nautical phenomena. They have inspired horror-infused stories and wild theories alike, and their names can send shivers down the spine. Here, from the golden age of piracy to 20th century tales, let's explore some of the most famous and mysterious ghost ships throughout history, each with its own chilling tale.
I like the golden age of piracy.
Yeah.
What is the golden age of piracy? Without looking it up, I would assume it was like 1700s or in the Bahamas area.
It was a terrible time to be anybody but a pirate.
You know, that's the golden age of anything. It tends to be bad for the people who aren't.
A name that can strike fear in a sailor's heart. The Flying...
Greg.
Oh, no, Greg.
Yeah. No. The Flying Dutchman makes sense.
The Flying Dutchman puts the ghost in Ghost Ship. Unlike the other vessels we're exploring, this ship is based on myth and legend. A ghoulish warship unable to make port, so doomed to sail the oceans for eternity, and to see it is an omen of disaster. The captain of the Flying Dutchman once found himself struggling to round the Cape of Good Hope during a ferocious storm. He swore that he would succeed, even if he had to sail until Judgment Day. The devil heard his oath and took him up upon it. The captain was condemned to stay at sea forever. His only hope for salvation was to find a woman who loved him enough to declare herself faithful to the captain for life, no matter what. To top it off, he could only stop sailing once every 7 years to go ashore and search for that one true love.
Okay. So, you know what? I didn't give the Pirates of the Caribbean movies enough credit. A lot of the lore from the Flying Dutchman was actually implemented in those films.
It really was.
So, you know, even the fact that what is his name? Will Turner he had to wait 7 years. And then that's why he didn't get to see his kid until like the 5th movie. So,
Yep.
all right.
And then they just added the whole taking out your heart thing.
Well, you got to add some things for the movie, Ryan.
So, first mentioned in literature in the late 1700s, sightings of the Flying Dutchman, often through thick veils of mist and fog,
Yeah, you got to have mist and fog. Ask Scooby-Doo.
have been reported for centuries. The future George V and his brother Prince Albert Victor spotted the ship off the coast of Australia in 1881. That's
Do you
Flying Dutch. That's Flying Dutch.
As the Flying Dutchman. I mean, if there is a phantom ghost Flying Dutchman out there, that would be really cool, right? But it seems like it also, like any ghost ship, right, could be the Flying Dutchman. Like if I see a ghost ship, I'm like, that's a Flying Dutchman. You know, is it misidentification is all I'm saying?
Or is it really just the Flying Dutchman?
Perhaps.
Just sailing the area.
This is why you got to not make deals with the devil.
Why?
That just doesn't usually work out, man. I mean, just unless you get a golden fiddle and you challenge that asshole and you win, otherwise you're kind of screwed.
I'll go the Tenacious D route. I'll challenge him to a rock off.
I mean, that's essentially the same thing, but fair enough.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The Flying Dutchman has inspired poems, stories, an opera by Richard Wagner, and most recently, the terrifying ship was, as Joe said, captained by Davy Jones in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Actually, most recently, it was captained by Will Turner after defeating Davy Jones.
That's
but
right.
Whatever.
That's right.
Yeah.
Unlike
my boy Orlando.
That's right. Unlike the Flying Dutchman, which is said to be supernatural, these next two ships are true stories that are still a mystery to this day.
All right. Strap in.
The most famous ghost ship of them all has to be the Mary Celeste.
Yes.
Having left New York in early November 1872, bound for Italy, the merchant ship was spotted drifting alone in the Atlantic Ocean on the 5th of December. The abandoned ship was found by the De Gratia off the Azores, but there was no trace of Captain Benjamin Briggs, his wife, their 2-year-old daughter, or his small crew of 7. While the cargo and the crew's personal belongings were undisturbed, the sails had only been partially set, a log entry had not been made in the last 10 days, and a lifeboat was missing.
Okay, maybe they had were they forced off the ship, right? Like, why would they leave their stuff, and why whoever forced them off the ship wouldn't take the ship?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what
the mystery.
That's what doesn't make sense to me. What's more, although there was water in the hold, the Mary Celeste was at no risk of sinking. So what caused Briggs and the crew to desert a seaworthy ship? And what were their fates?
Well, if there was water, maybe they thought it was sinking and just prematurely got on the lifeboat.
That could be it.
Yeah, that would be really funny if like one of the greatest like ghost ship stories in history just boils down to a bunch of people who panicked a little too quickly. Like, oh shit, water!
We're all gonna die!
They got drunk, made some bad choices, woke up on a lifeboat, said shit.
All right, let me grab some water and food. No time.
Yeah.
No time. Let's go on the ship. Go.
Oh, that sucks.
Bad decision. There have been many theories. Despite a lack of evidence, some were suspicious of mutiny, piracy, or an elaborate fraud. In the years since, natural phenomena like water spouts, essentially a tornado at sea, or fears that gas is leaking from the alcohol in the hold could explode have also been noted.
Okay,
So that's something that happens, I guess.
how freaking horrifying would it be to see a water tornado in the middle of the ocean? I never even thought that would be a possibility. If there wasn't another reason not to go out on the ocean, fucking water tornadoes.
What the fuck?
Man,
Dude, that is bad luck.
we were not meant to be there, Ryan.
No, it's not the place for us, Joe, but
You're there right now.
I am there right now. Wish me luck.
If we don't have an episode next week because you decide to fall off a boat, I'm going to be pissed.
Well, we do got this episode for next week, so it'll be next week. Oh, that's right. Next week from this show. I get what you're just saying. Yep.
There you
Oh,
go.
see? I'm that.
Making connections.
The light hasn't gotten here yet. It's taken a minute. While no conclusive explanation has ever been uncovered, the leading hypothesis suggests that Briggs believed the ship to be sinking incorrectly.
Oh, fucking nailed it!
It was taking on water, and one of the pumps seemed to be broken.
It's like, turns out he was just a fool.
No! Which may have led the crew to carry out a hasty and premature evacuation. Like,
I
you
hate
don't
premature evacuation.
Don't we all, Joe? Don't we all? I just imagine them sitting in
The
like
boat.
the safety boat, being like, "Yep, it's gonna go down anytime."
They're watching the boat.
It's gonna
Doesn't seem to be sinking.
It's like we're not really gonna be able to get back to
yeah, it's
it.
like, should we
Oh,
paddle
it's about
back?
to go down.
It's like,
no,
no,
it's about
no.
to go down.
I saved your lives.
Any
I
minute.
saved all of you.
You should be thanking me.
Oh,
boy, that was
no.
an uneasy
That would-
rowboat trip.
That would be a funny, not timely, but funny like SNL sketch. It's like
Oh my
about the boat
God.
looking at- Oh, I'm pretty sure it was sinking.
And then after a minute, he just tries to totally change course. Like, honestly, that ship sucked, right?
Yeah, we didn't want that
it was
boat
so
anyways.
uncomfortable.
And-
Like,
Who doesn't want to sleep like sardines?
It's
Come
like-
on, family.
you know, like that. We didn't need it. We don't need it. We'll get a better one.
All right, so what about this next ghost ship?
Well, actually, we're almost there.
Still- all right, all right.
Yep.
all right.
Ultimately, the reason for Mary Celeste's abandonment remains one of marine time's greatest mysteries, as is the fate of its crew. Sorry, I guess that was all there was. So no, Joe, you were actually I could have skipped that.
Fair enough. Next boat.
For 10 years, from 1921, when it came under ownership of Hudson's Bay Company, the cargo ship SS Bechimo traversed
Traversed, yes.
the fraught northern waters of the Arctic Circle, carrying furs and other goods to and from trading posts on Canada's north coast. In October 1931, it became trapped in packed ice off of the coast of Alaska.
No!
That's not good. Completely stuck and with no prospect of breaking free before the ice crushed the ship. All but the skeleton crew of 15 were evacuated by plane.
Well, if they weren't a skeleton crew then, they would have been.
Like, bye.
Oh, shit.
That
enough.
sucks. The men who stayed hoped to wait out the winter by living in a wooden shelter near the stricken Bechimo. But after bunkering down for several days during a blizzard, they emerged to find the ship had disappeared.
Oh, that's not great.
They assumed it had sunk. In fact, the Bechimo remained afloat and had broken free of the ice after all. After being corrected by seal hunters who had spotted it floating free. The sailors tracked it down, retrieved some of its cargo, and then abandoned it once more.
Okay, choices.
Over the next few decades, the Bechimo was spotted numerous times in Arctic waters. Attempts were made to board or salvage the vessel, but the ice and weather conditions meant it always eluded capture. Like, you can't catch me.
Oh, I mean, it would be cooler if there was some kind of treasure on there. You remember the movie Ghost Ship?
I do sort of. Just like the beginning scene is amazing, and that's really all I remember.
Okay, well, motivation of the evil ghost behind it all? Treasure.
Of course, a ghost needs treasure.
It does, yeah. Well,
Yeah. So, the last confirmed sighting of the crewless ghost ship was in 1969. That said, there have been sporadic reported sightings since. Is it possible that its voyage continues?
I mean, probably. I mean, if it hadn't rusted out, it could still be floating around.
That's actually like a cool thought.
It is and it isn't, right? Like, if there's one ghost ship out there, then that's cool. But if there's, like, a bunch because it keeps happening, then it's like the space around Earth and it's just a bunch of dead satellites. It just looks like junk.
Yeah, and then it just makes its way out and gets to that like giant garbage island in the middle of the ocean. Like,
Well, I think because of
just
the
attack-
tides, it would end up there eventually, right?
Wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just one day, it just ends up there.
That would be so weird
Like,
if you
holy
go to,
shit, it's the Bechimo.
you go to Garbage Island and it is just a bunch of ships that kind of sit there and then they kind of connect them like in Waterworld.
Yes.
Yeah, we could have like a whole little base of just a garbage. Oh, this is a fun idea. We could have like a garbage base movie of a bunch of people living in international waters. They could do whatever they want, and they've created their own society and almost like an island of just connected boats and garbage.
I'll be the one guy from the
I think that's kind of Isle of Dogs, to be honest. But yeah,
I've been saving it for special trade. Beeper. Come on, I love that guy.
Waterworld, yeah. That's a
Yes,
good one.
yes. Sorry, you said Waterworld. Had to make that. It's my favorite. But so that is today's conclusion for spooky stuff.
You know what? One that I always liked. There's this ship in Lake Michigan, and it went off, and what happened was the captain disappeared. So the crew was like, "What the hell? He's in his room. The room was locked. That didn't look like a porthole had opened, but the captain was just nowhere to be found in the middle of Michigan."
Oh,
Yeah, it was the Lake Michigan, the Michigan Triangle.
oh, dang. Yeah, we're gonna have to do the Michigan Triangle one of these. We're gonna have to do some triangles
Yeah, we'll
because
do
there's lots of them.
that. Yeah, we'll be Earthlings and triangles. We'll do the
Yes.
Bermuda Triangle, the Michigan Triangle, and the Dragon Triangle. And I'm sure there's more that I don't even know about.
I guarantee there's more. Just
Well-
like this show.
Exactly. Let's talk about some aliens. Let's talk about disclosure discussion. Ryan, were you aware that there's like 5 or 6 alien bases just in the water, like around the coast of the United States?
No, I swear, I didn't know that. No.
Well, nervous reaction aside, supposedly it is true. And that's what we're talking about on this week's.
Disclosure discussion. Ha 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 ha. It's about aliens and stuff.
We are not alone. Aliens may be hiding out in 5 or 6 underwater UFO bases off the U.S. coast, claims Congressman. The underwater crafts reportedly travel hundreds of miles an hour.
Yeah, not 7 though. That'd be crazy. Sorry.
This comes to us from thesun.com. Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett said alien entities were reportedly already living in deep water areas on Earth. The claims from the member of the House Oversight Committee that oversees UFO reports caused a massive stir on social media. In a now viral video posted on social media platform X on September 17th, Burchett suggested that advanced alien beings or civilizations may have been hiding under the sea for millennia. In a sidewalk interview with UFO researcher and documentary maker Red Panda Koala, a pseudonym.
Yeah, no, really? I thought his birth name was Red Panda Koala, Ryan.
Well, let's just clarify before people think we're talking to some Red Panda Koala.
I mean, my kid's name is Paradox, but Red Panda Koala, that would be a dope parrot.
I'm just saying that's it's not bad, but I just a little confusing.
This
That's
is
all.
my daughter, Beyonce Moonstar.
You go with what thou wilt.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. So Red Panda Koala, continue.
Burchett added that there had been frequent sightings of unidentified crafts in around 5 or 6 specific deep sea areas. Here's a quote. "We have naval personnel telling me that we have sightings of these underwater crafts that they're chasing," he said. "The underwater crafts they're chasing are doing hundreds of miles an hour. And the best we've got is something that does maybe a little bit under 40 miles an hour. I've got a lot of questions about that stuff," he added.
Fair enough.
Good idea.
Yeah.
In a short clip, he also noted more is known about the moon's surface than what is under the ocean.
You know, that's true, because that's exactly what I was going to say, is it would make sense if aliens had the technology and capability of hiding under the water, that they would, because we can't get there for the most part. It's the perfect place to hide.
It is the perfect place to hide. You're right. Following Burchett's revelations, Dr. Michael Sala revealed that a region of the Atlantic Ocean near the Bahamas was one of the alleged UFO bases. So there you go.
I mean, might as well get some, nice vacation on top of it. Come up, put on your human skin, have like a coconut drink.
I like a coconut drink.
Yeah.
The researcher and author, whose work focuses on extraterrestrial phenomena, said he had spoken to credible whistleblowers, including senior military and executive branch officials who confirmed the existence of these underwater bases. Dr. Sala said the U.S. Navy operated a top-secret underwater facility called AUTEC that he compared to Area 51. Never heard of this, have you?
Yes, but very briefly.
So, AUTEC, an acronym for Atlantic Undersea Testing and Evaluation Center, was in that specific region of the Atlantic Ocean. Just to the right of it is the tongue of the ocean, which is very deep part of the ocean there in the Bahamas, he said on a redacted podcast on September 19th. It drops off immediately around 3,000 feet, so that's ideal for a submarine. But it's also a place where people have seen many UFOs, many underwater crafts coming into and leaving the water. Dr. Salas said he had interviewed 2 eyewitnesses who said they visited these secret bases. This is where it gets a little fun, guys.
Okay.
Including a U.S. Army whistleblower using the pseudonym JP. JP claimed he was on a mission where he was taken by Black Hawk helicopter to an ocean platform, then boarded a high-tech submarine. The submarine was reportedly crewed by tall, Nordic-looking extraterrestrials.
All right.
He claimed the submarine, which was also capable of space travel, took him to an underwater city under a dome resembling Dubai with a large white pyramid. The mission involved retrieving an artifact, but no physical evidence of this mission has yet to be revealed. And that's what I've got, guys.
Huh.
Like, I found that and I couldn't believe it.
Okay, so there, an underwater city that apparently looks similar to Dubai. Are we sure he wasn't just on drugs and in Dubai?
I mean, this is a Army whistleblower.
Fair enough.
Used a pseudonym.
It is crazy though, because if there's underwater bases that resemble full-on cities, then is that not probably where the stories of Atlantis came from? You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. I've often thought that could have just been extraterrestrials under the water, or even these are creatures that have always been here, and they're not extraterrestrial. We just
Maybe they are very terrestrial.
they avoid us. Why wouldn't
God,
they?
wouldn't you?
Yeah, why wouldn't they? We're terrible. we love you, Earthlings, but you know.
We got our issues. But yeah, underwater bases. Not surprised, but it's really cool to think of like what we're going to discover the more our technology advances and the deeper we get to go.
Well, I wonder what's going to happen when we do, right? When we actually get to invade these areas, are we going to be met with hostility? Are we going to
Well, you just said when we invade. If you invade, you're probably met with hostility.
Well, I mean, that's what we're going to be doing, right? So we'll be going down there with ships that
hoping
can.
we could be a little nicer, like diplomatic mission, maybe.
Well, we're going to go in there, and they're going to just see us, and they're not going to want us there. I just, I don't see it boding well for us. And what if we let the genie out of the bottle, per se? Like, what if we
start a war with Atlanteans?
And we don't mean to, right? Like, we just go down there, they see it as a threat. They're like, you were up there, we're down here.
I mean, it's entirely possible, but I would argue that if there is an advanced civilization that is terrestrial, that lives under the ocean, with all the pollution we've done already, wouldn't they have already tried to commit war against us? Wouldn't they take down the surface dwellers?
Just Coca-Cola bottles raining on them for years.
I
Just
mean,
like,
I'm
God
kind of
damn it.
serious.
These motherfuckers.
That would be hilarious, though, if the underwater city was like a shanty town, like in Fallout, because it was built out of all of our garbage that gets thrown in the water.
I mean, that's possible.
It is possible.
That is possible.
That would be kind of weird, though, Ryan.
It would be weird, Joe.
Oh man, some things are weird. You know what I was thinking the other day? We're switching tactics. Okay, this is not a smooth segue, but we're gonna do it anyways. Ryan, did you ever have a neighbor that was doing something that was just so annoying that you went out of your way to kind of like feud? You fought like a war with a neighbor. Did you ever have any of those?
I didn't have a war with a neighbor. No, not that I can think of.
Well,
actually, no. Take that back. My dad's neighbor.
Okay.
Definitely gave me some choice words, but to be fair, I was rather loud and rather drunk. So we got into it a little bit. So I think I was partially the annoying neighbor.
Well, fair enough. The reason why I bring it up is for this week's Real World Weird, which we're about to jump into, a gentleman went a little far when it came to how to handle his disagreement with a neighbor. And that's what we're going to talk about right now.
Real World Weird.
Man allegedly eats his own pet peacocks to spite neighbor who kept feeding them.
It seems like the smart thing to do, if you ask me, Ryan.
This comes to us from coasttocoastam.com.
I see this article is throwing you.
A feud between Florida neighbors reached a bizarre...
It's always Florida.
It's always Florida. A bizarre crescendo when one of the battling homeowners ate his own pet peacocks to spite his rival, who had been feeding them against his wishes. They'll never eat again, but I will. Oh my God. According to a local media report, the jaw-dropping incident came to light on Saturday when a woman in the community of Hudson received a rather unsettling note her neighbor, Craig Voigt, had left in her mailbox. In the monstrous, monstrous missive, he indicted that he had followed through on a previous gruesome threat that he would eat his pet peacocks if she did not heed his repeated request to stop feeding them.
Why did he have such a problem with her
I
feeding them?
Don't know. This is a really harsh decision.
I mean,
He's cursing her name the whole time. He's plucking them and
you gotta hand it to him for committing, though. Like, he followed through
cuts its head off and plucks it, and he's just
the whole time.
like,
Fucking
goddamn
Sally.
Sally. I was gonna say
I'm gonna
Nancy.
show her.
Oh my god, that is terrifying. This is spooky stuff. The creepy letter in which Voight colorfully detailed how he killed and prepared the birds for dinner understandably unnerved his neighbor, who dutifully reported the matter to the police.
I mean, I don't think it's illegal to eat your own pets. Is
No,
it?
I
I don't
mean-
know. If I ate my own dog, not that I would, but if I ate my dog, would I go to jail if I ate my dog? Do you get in trouble if you eat your own pets?
I would have.
I mean, it's morally terrible, and I'm not trying to piss anyone off. I'm just
No,
saying,
no, I
like,
get what
is
you're
it
saying. It's-
illegal?
I mean,
Because what's the difference between having a bunch of bunnies, raising them, killing them for food, or a pig, or like a sheep, versus like a cat, a dog, or a peacock?
I feel like a peacock's in a different category.
A cat and a dog. Fair
Unfortunately,
enough,
I feel like a bird's in a weird different category.
All right, so it's eating a peacock is a little bit more normal, is what you're going with.
People raise chickens, right?
Yeah,
You know,
that's true. People aren't like, I'm gonna make pupper stew.
but they don't, prematurely kill the chickens and eat them because
Yeah,
their
they do. It's
neighbor is
called
feeding 'em.
eggs.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Well, they just poop those out. So when cops arrived and spoke to the man, they soon discovered that the note was not a bluff, as he confirmed the account contained in the letter.
Oh yeah, I fucking ate them.
Amazingly, Voight even went so far as to tell police about the process for cooking the peacocks in a frying pan. And a chilling coda to the case, as he was being arrested for animal cruelty. Oh, so there you go. There's your
I
answer.
guess you
Joe.
could get, yeah.
Over the astounding incident, the irate man declared that he would slaughter the remainder of his peacock flock upon being released from jail, lest some stranger get their hands on his beloved birds if he winds
They're
up
not that
behind
beloved.
bars.
They're not that beloved.
Right. Well, he needs them to prove a point, I guess, Joe. Like they serve a purpose, but yeah, beloved, I don't know about that.
What you don't know is this is actually only the first scene, kind of like Up, where the first scene was like this show the whole love of these two people and they go their whole lives,
And then they just
die.
shatter
Yeah, yeah.
every part of you forever.
So the first scene is this man eating these peacocks, and then he's getting arrested and getting dragged in there and screaming, "I'm gonna eat every last one of those peacocks as soon as I get out." And then you cut over to the peacocks with bulged eyes, being all scared, and then it just pops up, Pixar's Peacocks.
Oh my God,
And
Joe,
then
you're a genius.
The whole movie is just them trying to escape from this guy who's just chasing them the whole damn movie.
The peacocks are the ones who called the cops, I think. No, the peacocks, like, they wrote the letter and delivered it to the neighbor.
Oh, yes.
That's what you got to do.
Oh, right. Yeah. Because the peacocks couldn't stand for one of their brethren going down like that. They're like,
That's
no,
right.
No. All right. Okay. I like this.
So it's going somewhere.
Yeah.
Where do we go from there? No, I'm in the story now. I'm
You're in the
invested.
story? All right. Well, okay. So they are at home. So the guy has to actually get out in order for them to leave their enclosure in order to go on their adventure. And since this guy's crazy enough to eat peacocks, you'd assume that he's going to chase them. So then it's just pretty much a road trip movie. You come up with something that one of them
Yeah.
comes across, whether they're watching a TV and a commercial pops up, or whether like there's a phone on the ground and a pop-up ad pops up.
And it's going to be the
That'll be-
neighbor that's driving them.
Well, perhaps, but I'm just saying, like, they come across a golden rainbow, like a treasure at the end of rainbow. It's like a peacock preserve at like a zoo across the country or something, right? Like, in Iowa they have Peacock Land. It's like the dinosaur land in New Jersey where you can buy a dinosaur we were talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Except this is all peacocks, giant peacocks, and that's what they're trying to go. So now They're on a road trip while slowly being followed by this guy. And like you said, the neighbor is with them.
Yep.
They got to get separated from the neighbor, probably early second act, so we can have some of them go on their own adventures. And the neighbor will still be trying to go along the way and helping them. There you go.
And,
What's up?
and along the way, they've got to run into like another herd of peacocks, and like the
The
lead
wild peacocks.
the lead peacock is going to fall in love with one of the wild peacocks, and they're all going to come together at the end and help save them from the old man. It's going to be a Pixar film, so it's not that they're going to kill the old man or nothing, but they're definitely going to thwart him.
They will thwart him. He'll be
Yeah.
thwarted good.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
Oh, that'll be great. What a good movie.
I feel
Coming
like
soon.
I feel like we could develop this a little bit better, but it's there. It's the skeleton's there. Okay, we got to add some meat to the bones, but we got a good foundation.
The first 3 Pixar films were made over lunch. Literally, they were thought up over lunch.
Thought up over lunch, not made over lunch.
Yeah,
but I hear,
but thought up. Yeah, so there we go. We've got the
To be
premise.
fair, that would be Bug's Life, Toy Story, and what was the
Wall-E.
third one? No, Wall-E was after.
Okay, then it was those ones.
It may have been Monsters Inc. If that would be the third one. It may
No,
have
I
been.
remember that Wall-E. So Wall-E maybe not consecutively
Wall-E
came out.
was later.
Right, but it was thought of at this lunch because
Oh.
that was actually the quote. Because the guy said literally it was the last thing he thought of. They were leaving, and he like went to throw his garbage away, and he missed the garbage can, and it fell on the floor. And he looked down before he picked it up and was like, "So what if
There was a-
humanity left and just never came back?"
Oh.
And that was like, and we forgot to shut off the last robot. That was the last quote, was we forgot to shut one off. And they were like, "Oh, that's interesting." And that's how Wall-E was first thought up, and it wasn't released till much later. But
That's pretty amazing. It's kind of like Disney's Peacocks, which was thought up on a weird podcast called Earthling Entertainment, which has actually made it to the halfway point.
we did.
We did, guys. Stay tuned for a short ad from Freehold Ghost Tours, and then we're going to jump into our second half of the show, which is all pop culture. And like I said, we have a wonderful Scream Queen interview that's just waiting for you coming up after this.
The historic town of Freehold, New Jersey is known for many aspects: a tight community, the talented Bruce Springsteen, beautiful architecture, and structures tracing back hundreds of years. We are even home to a famous teenage witch and her sassy black cat. Most importantly, we are known for the Battle of Monmouth, which is credited for turning the tide in the American Revolution. What isn't commonly known is, for some places in Freehold, their old residents never left. Freehold Ghost Tours takes you on a leisurely walk through downtown Freehold and shares with you dark history, hauntings, and legends of our beautiful town. Stories consisting of true accounts from current and former residents and business owners, snippets of the past left behind by the living and the dead. Come hop on the Dark History and Hauntings of Freehold tour. Dates and spots are limited. Tickets can be purchased on freeholdghosttours.com. That's freeholdghosttours.com. With ghost stories, history lives on forever.
Calling all comic fans, it's time to feed your brain at Green Brain Comics, where the freshest new issues, graphic novels, and manga hit the shelves every week. Whether you're looking for the hottest new series or the latest small press sensation, we've got it all. Every genre for every age, Green Brain Comics is your one-stop shop for all things graphic storytelling. Got questions? Our friendly staff knows their stuff. Whether you're a longtime fan or new to the world of comics, we've got recommendations that'll keep you coming back for more. And don't forget to check out our special events. Green Brain Comics is not just a store, it's a community. Located in East Downtown Dearborn, we are at Green Brain Comics on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Shop online at greenbraincomics.com, and remember to feed your brain at Green Brain Comics.
Earthling Entertainment Special Report. 1. Peaky Blinders sequel series gets a 2-season order at Netflix. 2. Walter Goggins is set to play the Ghoul from Fallout the TV show in Fallout 76 the video game. 3. Zach Galifianakis and Camille Namajami join Young Frankenstein prequel series Very Young Frankenstein. 4. A new Riverdale TV show based on the comic Afterlife with Archie is in the works at Disney+. This has been an Earthling Entertainment Special Report by one gremlin. One lonely gremlin.
So, you've made it to the second half of the show.
We have.
Yeah, congratulations. We have a wonderful interview ready to just show you guys. But first, we have to unfortunately say goodbye to another celebrity on this week's.
Remember that guy? Remember that gal? Well, now they're dead.
Jane Goodall, the famed primatologist, anthropologist, and conservationist, has died, according to the institute she founded. She was 91 years old. Goodall died of natural causes while in California on a speaking tour of the United States, the institute said in a statement on social media on Wednesday.
That's right. Last Wednesday, by the way. We just wanted to mention it quickly. There's not much to really say here if you're aware of her work. She did a lot of really good things in the study of chimpanzees and just kind of seemed like an overall nice person. And it seemed like something we should mention. But we don't have much more to say than that. You had a life well lived. You did a lot of research. You did a lot of study. You're a smart woman. And thanks for being around.
Yeah, dude, I've heard so much about her throughout the years. So rest in peace. She did a lot.
So, Ryan, we finally made it. We're here.
Where are we?
We are in the studio talking with Scream Queen, Debbie Rochon.
Oh, man.
Hey, guys, I'm sitting here with Debbie Rochon, a Scream Queen who has a magnificent background. She has over 270 acting credits. I mean, I'm impressed. You should be, too. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm shooting 3 movies right now as we speak. No, I'm
And
not.
I thought I was busy.
But no, actually, I just came back from doing 3. But I'm doing great. It's October.
Ooh,
What?
yeah.
I don't want to say what could be wrong. There's a lot going crazy out there, but I will say that it's a beautiful month and things are just getting more and more exciting every day.
I agree. The spooky season is even funner this year for me because my son is finally old enough to appreciate it. He's 2.5.
Oh.
I get to take him trick-or-treating.
Nice. Oh, I love it. Just don't let him take any pixie sticks. Did you talk about serial killers on your show?
Oh, of course we do.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to put that idea out there, but yeah, the original Candyman, he put poison in pixie sticks.
I mean, it is a good method. Rat poison would fit very easily in there.
Well, that's what he found.
Well, you have played
Jeez.
basically villains and you've played final girls. You played the whole spectrum. And that is actually a perfect segue into a question there. I wanted to know, as all the villains you've played, what was the most like menacing or evil thing your character did, or something that you thought stood out as like a fun film?
You know, it's interesting because I've done some really fun villains. They are my favorite, and you probably hear that a lot now. When I was coming up, it was just about being, and not even the final girl in a. I don't even know if there was many final girls. I really think Buffy sort of spearheaded the whole idea. Not that they didn't come before her. Don't get me wrong, but it became a thing. Prior to that, it was always you're probably going to end up dead. How sexy can you be? Like that was sort of the indie world in the 80s, 90s, right? I was working in the 90s, very little in the 80s. I was just barely coming up then. But so villains. So when I did American Nightmare, we shot it in 99. It came out in 2001 or 2. That was, sort of like I say, women had done it, but people responded to the fact that, okay, here you have this woman, she's out of her mind crazy, she's evil, she's not well, but there's a sexual quality there, so it was messing everybody up in the head. But that was a lot
As
of
it would.
fun. As it would, but not that crazy going back to the serial killer thing because their courtrooms are filled with fans, which is like a whole nother conversation. That's weird.
It
The
is.
most
It's the people who I fell in love with Charlie Manson while writing him letters kind of person.
Yes, I
Yeah.
married him. We had I had his child or whomever, right? Like whoever you could fill in the blank. It's craziness, but it's on a scale of evil. I've done a lot of things, and I like to think that they were all very creative considering the victims, right?
Hmm,
So I had like a lot of really, like even in Serial Caller, a movie I did with Dan Brownlee in England, and he had a great script, and there was some really fun, different kills in that movie. But I have to say, disturbing wise, another movie I did in England, but with John Keyes from American Nightmare fame, if you will. Um, I think when we made Nightmare Box, which became Doom Room by the distributor, I think that was really disturbing because that was based on a true story about the girl who was taken hostage by a couple and put in a box under their bed for 7 years and brought out and horrible things done to her. Um, I think even though you don't have like the blood and the grue and the, guts of the murders, so to speak,
sure.
all within the context of the movies, let's be clear.
Yes, very much so.
But very much so. But I really think because the nature of that being true life, that was really, really disturbing, I have to say.
Yeah. I mean, being held captive is probably really, really the most psychological thing in films. It's a different take. There's always the blood and guts murder porn or slasher versus the
Hmm.
one where they try to psychologically break down the character.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
depending on how you feel, it could go either way as far as which one's scarier to you.
Right. And I love them all. Like I really do. I love all kinds of horror movies. What was it? Strange Darling
Oh yeah,
was a genius. If you haven't seen it, please see it. It's not a movie that I'm in. It's a movie that I saw and I just cannot recommend it enough. It is crazy. I won't say anything about it so it doesn't ruin it, but Strange Darling, if you could find that, anybody listening, check that out.
hey, it's a good
Crazy.
Halloween recommendation, you'd say.
Mm. I would say, like just the writing, the acting, everything about it, spot on indie movie. Yep.
Nice. Well, that's a great recommendation. But what about the films you've been in? I know it's impossible. You've done so many. But what would come to your mind? What's the first film that comes to your mind if I was like, what was your favorite? And I know it probably changes all the time.
Well, it does because the short disclaimer that I'll say is you could have the best time of your life and the movie not necessarily turn out as good as either it could have, you hoped, or for whatever reasons that are out of your control. I mean, there's
Sure.
so many things, every department has to be hitting on all cylinders, post, pre-production, everything has to be like lined up, and then the cinema gods have to be smiling down on you on top of that, and then you have a great film. So there's so many things that go into it. But I would say, like, if somebody said to me, what do you want me to watch of yours to get like a good vibe on what you've done, I would say, well, for the serious stuff, I would say American Nightmare, Color from the Dark, I would say Exhumed.
Ooh,
There's probably other ones for comedy, like cult comedy. I would say Killer Rack. I would say Slime City Massacre.
yeah. Slime City
Any of
Massacre was a lot of fun. I did actually
Yeah,
recently check that one out. What
yeah,
was
it's
Slime
fun.
City Massacre was 2010.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's a good one.
Is go definitely going back a bit now. Seems like yesterday.
I don't know. Something about like the homeless underground has always been something I enjoyed in films.
Yeah, I know. It's so rich. I mean, Escape from New York, you have The Warriors. I mean, that's not a horror, but it's a cult movie. So many great movies have to do with the class structure, even though we don't really talk about it a lot in North America. And maybe we will more now. I don't know. But I like that whole concept of like the class. I mean, Purge is sort of based on that, isn't it?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
classes getting back at one another, and not just personal vendettas. So yeah, that whole subgenre is just rich with stuff.
Really is.
So
I'm watching They Live again because I'm a big sci-fi fan. So that one,
yeah. Oh,
it hits hitting me how poignant it still is.
Exactly, exactly. And last night I was watching, because I always watch as I sleep. I know, not good for the health, but I do.
Fair enough.
Um, I could recite the majority of all of the Twilight Zones. However, I'd never indulged in the Outer Limits before. So now
Ooh.
I'm just sitting there and my mind is like, this is amazing. Like, what one of these scripts would ever be okayed today? And they're so intellectual. On one hand, they're very simple human emotions, which is really important to incorporate. But I mean, they've got like these multi levels of. I saw the one with Martin Sheen in it, and I was like, wow. And I don't know the titles yet because I haven't memorized them yet.
Sure, sure.
But just sci-fi is it though. When you combine sci-fi and horror, like The Thing, Alien, all these types of movies, you have gold.
I
Gold.
agree. I agree. That's definitely one of my favorite genres, as well
Yeah.
as just you were mentioning the horror comedies that you've done. I know you've
Yeah.
worked a lot with Trauma, and that is
Yes.
pretty awesome. So
Yes.
you started out with Romeo and Juliet,
I
obviously,
did.
and that one you play Ness.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was
That's
that
right.
experience? Because a lot of people now, because of James Gunn taking over the DC universe, they're big and looking up his past catalog. And to many people's surprise, not mine, because I've been a fan forever, Romeo and
Right.
Juliet's been coming up a lot.
Oh, yeah. And as a matter of fact, yesterday it was announced by Vinegar Syndrome that they are doing pre-sales for their Tromeo and Juliet release,
Ooh.
which is so jam-packed. And yes, it does include new commentary tracks by James Gunn, Lloyd Kaufman, all of the main people like that. He did a lot with this disc, and I was so impressed, but he's never turned his back on that movie. So he's a good soul, good man. And I don't care. Anybody could tell me any story they want, and I would take pause because I know what I've seen. It was incredible working on that movie. I'd worked with Trauma doing a few things like skits and various things previous from 92 to 95 when we shot that movie. And so that was the first movie of Lloyd's that I did. And it was so spectacular. I mean, there was so many people working on it. People always think, oh, trauma films take 2 days and 50 cents. Well, they take about 4 to 5 weeks and about $500,000. Sound crazy? Maybe, but that's the truth. That's
No.
that's what it is. I mean, just to and it doesn't go in the salaries. You know what I mean? It's just
Yes. It's a well, people hear the
locations.
word indie film and they're thinking $5 million Blumhouse films. And it's like,
Yeah,
okay, we've reached there at the top, but it's normally between, from my experience, half a mil to 3 mil for these kind of movies. And
right. That's right.
it's a lot of fun. My buddy got to work on a few trauma films, but never one of their flagship ones like you have, which would be the Toxic Avenger. You were
Yeah.
in the Toxic Avenger for Citizen Toxie.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That was really, ooh, that was a grueling one. That was
Yeah.
a grueling shoot. There was a lot of funny stuff that happened, a lot of great stuff, but that one was grueling. That was after we did Romeo and Juliet, then Terra Firma, then Citizen Toxie was shot in 99. And we went up to Poughkeepsie. And that, for me, that was the first time I had been out of the city, New York City, to shoot with Trauma. And it was very immersive, which is now the norm, the new norm, because it's
Sure.
so hard to shoot in New York City now. But it was very grueling but funny. Like Corey Feldman has a role in the movie where obviously he showed up. I can't speak for him, but I could say probably he was there for the cash. He stayed at Lloyd's. He went up to Poughkeepsie and shot for the day, and he put on like this elaborate mustache and wig and all this craziness so that people wouldn't really recognize him. And he insisted that they use Kinky Finkelstein as
As
his
his
name in
name.
the credits. So, I mean,
At that point, what's the point of having him in the movie? It's like you can't recognize me and you can't use my name. I mean, I
Right.
guess it's a fun Easter egg.
It's a well, yeah, and I don't think it went by anybody that that wasn't him. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah,
just
fair enough.
it was and everybody knows. And today, every especially today, everybody knows. And it's just funny. But so there was all of those kind of shenanigans going on, and
I have to
uh,
ask though, was the diaper mafia as formidable in real life as they were on screen?
Um, well, no, because I knew them all,
Right.
and Yvonne, Trent, Caleb, all the guys, and everybody else. This is where I met Doug Sackman, who's no longer with us, but was from that moment of being in the classroom until when he passed away, about a year ago or so, and he never left Trauma's side. Is so really it's like making friends for life, working on one of these movies because it is so immersive. Like, not everybody you will walk away and stay friends with, and that's for sure too. But you will meet people that, to this day. Like I speak with Jane Jensen now all the time. There was a big period in between, she went away, she had a family, she had a music career, all this stuff. But it always comes back around. And that's kind of the beauty of trauma is, you'll always touch base again. But it was exciting to see The Toxic Avenger in the theaters,
Yeah.
with all the
Even though it took
big
forever to
stars.
get into the theaters,
Yeah, yeah, I know it took a long
like
time.
four
And
years
I'm
maybe.
excited that it's streaming so I could finally get to see it.
Yeah, yeah,
Have you
very
seen it?
exciting. That one actually I have not seen. I tried to see it in theaters
Yeah.
and something came up with my kid and I couldn't go. So now I'm
Yeah.
waiting to watch it with my buddy so we could review it for the show.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So
Perfect. Yeah, I'm in the same situation, so we'll be the first to stream it soon. Soonly.
totally. So beyond the Toxic Venture, there is a bunch of other horror comedies. I know you were in Terror Tunes 3 and 4. Were you in two? I couldn't find that, but I know you're in 3 and 4.
No, I wasn't. And yeah, oh my God, Joe Castro is and Brink Stevens. They're so talented and they're good people. That was a joy. I mean, I was just out in LA shooting for like a day with them. So it wasn't a long, production time for me, but just the dignity and class and talent that, just how they treated me, anybody working on it. It was held up as a way to do it, truly. Like these
Yeah,
guys are great, really good people. But it was fun, and the talent from Joe Castro and his monsters is just off the hook. He's just otherworldly. Just one of these people that lives what they do. And that's kind of what it takes to be great at something is that, just like musicians, right? Or the paranormal. Like you have to like be in it, your head's in it pretty much all the time to really make a difference or really to find something or really to create something, I should say.
sure. No, I agree. Actually, the reason why I brought up those films was simply because I am a huge fan of practical effects. And
Yes.
the lovely
Yes.
thing about horror and genre film is you get practical effects more now in the B movies, the indie films, and all these cult films more than you get because the big studios want to spend $200 million in CGI everything. And I don't know,
Yeah.
on every set I've been in, I've seen better acting and reaction to props and physical makeup than I have to, hey, look at this tennis ball. So,
Right.
and
Right. Well, I mean, like yeah, I'm not going to take away from the artists who create in that world,
sure,
but but I will say that as a viewer, because when you're acting, right? Like it's to me, other people have a different opinion, but it's all the imagination anyway. And if anything, it might challenge you to a greater degree to have nothing there, because sometimes your scene partner's not there and you have to do the whole scene and they're shooting in 3 days, but your half of the scene is being shot today. That happens. So you have to have a good imagination. But I will say, when I'm watching a movie, I feel there's just a certain something in the subconscious that knows when something's real and it reacts more
sure.
than if something is not, because it's gotten to the point now where it's harder and harder to tell if it's really super high end and you have massively talented people creating it. But there's something about that realness, and having to deal with it so that even when it's not totally working, harken back to Ed Wood and the octopus, right? Like, even if it's not working, it's entertaining as hell,
That's
to
right.
watch the people flailing around with these things, and the puppetry that it takes to make something even work, and half of it's work and half's not, and it's amazing, amazing. Going back to James Gunn, for instance, he made the movie Slither,
Yeah.
and he shot that in Vancouver, where I'm originally from. And I went up there. I was working with a newly bought Fangoria. I think it was like 2004 or 5, and we flew up there to cover it, like just to shoot and make it. And on YouTube, there is a making of that I did on it that anybody could find. And everything in that movie was practical. And so it was amazing, just these big sets and monsters and things that people had to crawl in, and all the people doing the mechanics and the puppetry and everything. And
Just moving the
James Gunn
tentacles at the
loved it.
end. Yeah.
Yeah. And James loved it. Right. Exactly. But then he was like, who I don't know, like it's very, very time consuming. It's wonderful to work with those artists that only do practical, but it is like there's a lot of problems that come with it, which is normal.
Yeah.
That's normal. But it can add like a lot of time to remake something that gets broken, perhaps, or something like that. But again, why you love it, like the shark's not working, right? Jaws,
Exactly. Yeah,
right?
but it could be the difference between 12 hours on set and 18 hours on set.
Yeah, yeah. Or ending up with a better movie because you didn't show Jaws as much as what you planned on,
Yeah,
right?
everyone says that, and it is absolutely true in the case of Jaws. But I gotta tell you, it is a risky move to not show your monster. I
Mm.
think he
Hmm.
obviously nailed it and held the suspense in
He
that
got
one.
lucky. Yep, he
Yeah,
definitely got lucky with that particular. Yeah, right. I certainly wouldn't recommend it, but yeah, he got lucky for
yeah, he
sure.
he did it. He did it. But
Yeah.
so I was thinking about this after doing all the research and looking through as many of your films as I could, and realizing how many times you have been killed or lived, better than the bad guy, been the good guy. I wanted to say, I know you probably don't have like a tally mark on the wall, but do you think you've been killed more often than you've survived? Or do you think you've survived more often than you've been killed?
You mean as a victim or as a killer?
Either
Like, have I
way.
killed
Like if
more?
if it's the oh no, if it's the overall, you yourself, the character you play in all the
Oh,
films, if you were to
huh.
kind of guess, do you think you've died more than you've lived? Or vice
I think
versa?
I've died more than I've lived.
Yeah,
Do like taking out the killer aspect, me being the killer, meaning take that away, take those movies away, I would say so. And the reason is something I learned very early on, like in these kind of really indie horror movies. I used to say to people, the actors, actresses, anybody who listened to me, but I used to say, this is what you want to try your best to do because you're least likely to be cut out. If you have to do nudity, and like I'm not, believe it or not, for the amount that I've done, I'm not like a big fan of it, of doing it. I mean,
sure.
I couldn't care less if everybody's walking around. I couldn't care in movies. I love it. I don't care if somebody is or isn't. It doesn't bother me. But just me doing it, uncomfortable. But have done it. So one of three things. I'm hoping I'm going to remember the third. One is nudity. Two, really cool prosthetics of some sort, right? Like you mutate into something or something happens or you got,
Your face
your arm
melts,
cut off,
whatever. Yeah.
your nose extends like in Terra Firma or something like that. Or you have a really, really cool, brutal death scene. And if you're one of those three things, you're just not going to be cut out.
So good advice, I'd say.
So that's my advice.
Yeah, try to
Not
be
to
the one
get,
who gets killed.
yeah, try, yeah, right.
That's the secret to Sean Bean's success. He's figured it out.
He's figured it out. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's like it's like the reason anybody went to go see what was that movie called Mickey 13 or
Mickey
Mickey
17.
17,
Yeah, with
right? Everybody
Robert
wanted to go see him
Pattinson.
die.
Yeah, could see him die several times in that film.
Yeah, yeah. And then when they got away from it, that's when they were losing me. Because I was like, I'm here to see him die. What's all this like drama about? I know that's really dumb on my part,
Well, there's a
but
lot of
yeah,
movies
that's
out there where the first act is the best.
yeah. Exactly. That's how I felt. You nailed it. You nailed it. And it was a beautiful movie and stuff. It took a turn that I hope a lot of people like. It wasn't up my alley, but I was there for the deaths. I was like, oh, this is going to be great.
Well,
That's what I want to see. I want to see it.
Well, what about your own deaths as any kind of death, whether you're a villain or a heroine? But if you were killed in a film, what is there a time that you've died in a particularly cool way that you could kind of walk us through? Describe the process of having it happen.
Oh, wow. That's a really excellent question because quite often in the low budget movies, it's, they can either do like a quick effect or, something happens and then you sort of like die and it's fairly quick. So it's hard for me to sort of pinpoint something that is that elaborate where say something with a bigger budget. I think I will have to think more on that because I'm really I think like the most effects free way that I've had of dying the longest
Sure.
was in Exhumed, where I drank a whole bunch of bleach. I'm part of this cult, and that's what I ended up doing. So it's really me drinking water and slowly dying as I'm talking. And so that was as an actor, that's interesting. I know that's not for people looking for like lots of blood, that doesn't sound that great, but that
No, I mean
was
that sounds really physically demanding.
it. Yeah, that's the thing, it really is. And it's like everything, whether you're playing drunk or you're playing um high or whatever you're playing in real life, if you are those things, you're trying not to be that, right? You're
Yeah.
trying not to be drunk. So that's where all the interesting movements come from. It's not like you're like intentionally falling all over the place. It looks silly. And it's kind of like that's the same with crying in horror movies or any movies. Like you're not people don't try to cry. They're trying not to cry. So as an actor, you have to figure it out. You have to say, okay, I am gonna, character's gonna break down or character is drunk or whatever. Okay, so how do I incorporate that with the fact that we don't like to show that not any of this is happening to us in real life so that it registers as real. So then the reason I say that is because also when people are dying, it's not super quick and it's not like, boom, 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 unless it's a comedy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Or a
so
gun,
it's
to be
about
fair.
yeah, yeah. And I know our hands are tied. We can't control these things that much, it's as actors. But that's why sort of interesting, elaborate deaths are more interesting visually because you haven't got to rely on an actor who's either not knowing how to die without direction, because there's oftentimes very little on independent movies. They assume you know what you're doing, but there's you gotta have like someone with a really clear vision.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I guess I'm saying all that to say I don't really have a perfect answer for that. I
I
think,
mean, I think you did have a perfect answer for that. That was
did
beautiful,
I?
by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, that was really good. But
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, you nailed it. I don't there's nothing to worry about. But you've done a lot of really strange movies, and kind of to
Mm.
piggyback on what we were just talking about, maybe not a death scene situation, but what's the strangest thing you've had to do in a film? Like hold this tuna, hang up upside down over a pit of Jello. Whatever we. I've seen some of these movies, and there's quite a
Yeah.
bit.
What? Yeah. So there is quite a bit. Like, I would say, it's not funny. It's actually very disturbing. But one of the weird, most extreme things I've had to do is probably in Nowhere Man, where my boyfriend, my fiance comes home and somebody has dropped off a videotape, which is super old, but it's of me in some porno movie, the character.
Yeah,
And so he finds out knew nothing about my past. And so loses his temper. He starts emotionally beating me, then humiliating me, and, ripping the ring off and throwing it down the toilet. And then a rape scene. Like it doesn't go all the way through, but
sure,
it's
sure, but it's
obviously this
clear
is
what's
what
happening.
so I think that was, and for most people, they watch the movie and they're like, I'm really glad I saw it 'cause it's crazy, like to show, especially for actors to show such vulnerability and range, but they don't want to see it twice because it's disturbing. So there's those kind of movies too. Like, they're good, but do you want to see it twice?
Yeah, they weigh on you. They weigh. It's not
Yeah.
something you're gonna pop in on a Saturday night for a good
No,
time.
it's not a comfort. And if it is, then there's other things that should be discussed
Sure,
that
sure,
are
but a
far
character
deeper.
study.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I know that was sort of a heavy answer to your question. Um, Gee, it's funny. I could just go through. I think working like a lot with doing stuff with Chris Seaver and people like that, like true indie, comedy, over the top directors. That's why they're so much fun because it's like there's no the reason his movies work is because he's got such a clear vision. He literally knows every damn shot he needs and wants, like already he knows. But within that, you could really go, as take as many chances as you possibly want. Like we're not making a Hallmark movie, and that's not putting those down. I know it's a paycheck for a lot of people, so I wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
But
work is work.
work is work, but it's kind of the polar opposite of that,
Sure.
and which is kind of where I excel because if you tell me, all chains are off and go crazy, I'm like, oh my God, now I'm just about to have fun, like some crazy fun.
Well,
It's my
okay.
favorite thing to do.
To have fun, I agree. Well,
Yeah.
let's say the chains were off and you had all the money and all the resources you wanted in this fictional
Mhm.
world. What movie would you make?
Oh boy. Well, if I was to say it, I'd give it away. Because
Ooh,
there's a couple that I definitely want to. And I'm talking very seriously about doing. It takes always such a long time to get some things done right. That's the thing, to do it right. It's worth the wait, as to do something just like, people don't care. They think it's product. Let's get past the product thing and let's make some movies that we want to see. That's lesson one. I'll get to your answer in a second.
hey, no, take your
Lesson
time.
number one, filmmakers. And you know what? The ones that I love already are doing this, have always been doing this, but make the movie that you want to see. Don't make something trying to guess what people want to see. Don't make something that you think is going to sell, or these other, ideas that never pan out. You have to make the movie that, you're passionate about, that you want to see. So that's how you make a standout movie, a memorable movie, a movie that people rewatch, like what we're talking about.
Something
Rewatchable.
that permeates all the years that are gonna pass, right?
Yeah.
I still watch films, the Universal monster movies, and I'm sure when they were making those, they didn't think that almost 100 years later there would be some podcast host talking about them.
They never dreamt that. And thank God. I mean, I love their performances. I was kind of like, I'm a huge Humphrey Bogart doing noir movie fan. Okay. Love, like, he's untouchable in a lot of these movies that he's made. Then I saw, and I don't know if it's true because, on the internet we have to be careful, but apparently he did like a vampire super early on. Something Mr. X. Oh, what was the name of it? I didn't see the movie. I saw clips from it. And apparently he went on the rest of his career, he said, "Oh, there's only one movie I did that was truly horrible." And he mentioned that one, and I was thinking to myself, "Oh, don't say that. That's probably a great performance in there." But yeah, so I love our guys, our famous monster guys that, never left our side and just gave us so much and inspired all of the cool artists that came out of that, like the Greg Nicoteros, the
Oh,
list goes on, right? Goes on and on. Just
that was a good
all
pull,
of
though. I love
the
Greg.
Tom Savini's that, yeah, I mean, just
Yeah.
like that really had a massive influence. And look what Tom Savini did. He came back from Vietnam, and he loved these guys, and he came back and he had this crazy realistic special effects that just disturbed the hell out of everybody.
Well,
Um,
fortunately or unfortunately, he saw it in real life, so he knew what it looked like.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
well, exactly, exactly. I mean, this is, you take from what you know and what inspires you, and then you make something yourself. And that's
Yeah, the reason why I asked what movie you would make is because I know that Model Hunger is something you did in 2016, and it was your directorial debut.
hmm
Would you tell me a little bit about more about that experience? I mean, obviously that
Oh
was a passion project.
yeah. Model Hunger was written and produced by James Morgart, who hired me, so to speak, as the director because it's a female story. But the lucky thing is, for me, he didn't, well, first of all, he didn't tell me that he had me in mind to direct it. He just sent me a script. Tell me what you think of it. Didn't say, and I read it and I was like, I was like turning the pages, and I just saw, it's just like my mind kind of just exploded, opened up, and I just saw everything, and I don't even know why. I was thinking, oh, is he thinking I could play one of these characters? But I just saw everything, and when I contacted him back, I was like, this is incredible. He says, how would you like to direct it? And I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. That is insane. Because up until then, people had asked me to direct, but it was always cheesy, crappy exploitation. And I just said, no, like I just didn't want that to be like the first thing is just another hunk of shit. Like there's
Sure.
enough hunks of shit. There's enough of them. I've been in some,
We
not gonna
we've all had
like
a bad
act
day
like
at the
I'm
office.
holier than thou,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean? But this was incredible, and there was so many things. See, he did much better than myself. As far as school goes. He's a learned man. He studied like, women, the history of women, all this stuff in like college and have degrees in it and all that kind of stuff. So he understood and has an eye for this type of thing. And all of the points that are made with the movie Model Hunger are just so right on the money, right? Just hitting the nail on the head and driving it through the wood. And so it just screamed to me, just related to everything. I saw people that I knew in parts. I wasn't even trying. I was just like, I could see everything. I could, taste the subject matter. Like, I knew what it was trying to say. And so I said, this is amazing. This is perfect. I said, let's go. Let's do this. And really, what nailed it were two things. He said, okay, you get final cut, which was
That's
had to be.
amazing.
Yeah, it had to be because, I could shoot what I want, but if I have no say how it's cut, then it's not the same movie by any stretch of the imagination. Um, and then also, if there were scenes as we were making the movie that I wanted to tweak, change, he was completely good with it. Like it was sort of a dream project for me because to have that sort of um freedom and blessings, and he's there. It's not like he just, okay, I'm going to, here's a script and I'm going to fund it and I'll see you later.
Yeah,
No,
he wasn't just a money man.
no, 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 no. And he was there every step of the way. And just it was really an incredible, a challenging, a difficult, yet incredible shoot. It was 22 days of filming, um, just over a month of pre-production, and then 4 years in post.
Wow.
4 years in post. But the reason was because there were certain elements of the movie that my post guys had to fix so
Sure.
that they could work with it. Because, it's not important to throw anybody under the bus, but when things are done a certain way and they have to undo the problems before they can do, their work, that takes time. So what went from, just throwing it out there, 6, 8 month, post situation, it became like, okay, well, they did that and they got this far. Now they have to also take other work and do it while they're doing other work. And
Yes.
then the time it really came together was it was 4 years in the making. I'll never forget two things Lynn Lowry said to me, who is phenomenal in this movie, carries the movie, and everybody who's in it is gold because I had who I wanted. So everybody, I swear to God, is just award worthy. I'm telling you, that's exactly how I honestly feel. And I'm so glad that I am not in it because he had written one of the roles for me, and I was like, there's no way that I want to direct and be in the first one that I do. That is, to me, it's like that was pure insanity. I mean, that would be crazy. And I was so lucky that someone
Definitely
is,
a learning curve.
yeah, I mean, that's too much. Like, it's not a short movie. It's not a short film done in my backyard. It was a big, big deal. And anyway, I got very, very lucky with all the people, but two things Lynn Lowry said to me. She said, um, you are the only person. I no, I told her, I said, "You didn't have to sleep with me for the role. Isn't that great?" Like, just it was a joke. We were talking about this sort of thing, right? Yeah, these things do come up in conversation if you're joking around. And she says, "No, but I did eat pussy for you." Now, you have to see the movie and not the version on Tubi, which they cut up, to understand what that means, because she's cannibal in the movie. And yes, in fact, in the movie, she fake eats literally as a cannibal, not in a sexual manner. A piece of a labia. We'll say that. We'll put it that way.
Hey, medical terms are fine here.
Yeah, got to use the medical. Don't want to get like, strike or anything like that against you.
Reminds me a bit of the Reanimator films.
Yes, 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 yeah, exactly. Exactly is no more crazy than that. Um, and then what was the other thing that she said? Yeah, the eating pussy and damn. Okay, I got too my mind just went too deep into there. I'll think of that. I'll
Sure,
think,
sure.
I'll think of that second point that she made. I went down that road and I'm still there. I'm still in awe. Still in awe. Thinking of Lynn Lowry cannibalistically eating pussy. It's
Mm.
amazing. Amazing.
It's definitely an
But
image that would stay with you.
yeah, it is. And she did it with such gusto. I'm telling you, it was beautiful.
So you're gonna
So you
miss
have to
that
watch
if you watch it on Tubi. I hear you. They cut it up on Tubi.
Yeah, yeah, they
Well,
did. I can't blame them. I mean, I was just going for like I approach like acting roles. I'm like, yeah, let's, do this, let's show this, let's go for it,
it's in
right?
the
That's
script.
the mind where I come from. Like I'm from trauma. I did a movie with Ryan Nicholson called Hanger, where literally I play like I got I got to tell you this story really quick.
Yeah, go
Ties
for it.
in trauma and Ryan Nicholson. with the movie Hanger. So I said to Lloyd, I said to Ryan, I said, "Do you want Lloyd in the movie? I could get Lloyd to fly up to Vancouver." I flew up to Vancouver to be in his movie.
Yeah.
He said, "Yes, I do." He said he's got to play like a transsexual prostitute. And
Lloyd doesn't have a problem with that.
I said, "No problem." Okay, no, sure, no problem. Okay, I'll tell him. I'll tell him. So I told Lloyd, I said, "I got you in this movie that I'm doing. You're playing my best friend. You know, I play a prostitute. You're gonna be like the transsexual prostitute best friend." And he was like, "Okay, okay, yeah, no problem. I'll fly up there before I go down to LA and I'll do it." So that was about a month before, maybe a little bit more. Okay, keep this, follow the story, follow the lines here, because it gets better and better. So we're ready to do the movie. I'm up there. He's flying on his way up, and he's so busy, Lloyd. He says, "Can somebody just email me the sides?" So he gets them and he's memorizing them on the plane. He gets off the plane and he gets to the location and he's in makeup right beside me. And he said, "Oh, Debbie." I said, "Yeah," because he's getting his wig put on, and nothing's out of ordinary for me. Nothing's like weird. He's saying, "When I was on the plane, I was memorizing the part of the pimp." And he said, "You didn't tell me." I said, "Lloyd, I told you. I would never not tell you that this is going to be the role." And he swore to me that he did not know that was the role. It wasn't a problem, but he just totally assumed he memorized the lines for the pimp. No, Lloyd, the transsexual prostitute. Come on. So he was in the wig and the makeup and he was smiling, but he would cut me some looks, boy. He was not, but by the end of the shoot, he had had so much fun that he was good. But I'm telling you, those first couple of hours, if looks could kill, boy, he was straight out of uh oh damn, what's that De Palma movie? Dress to Kill. He
Sure.
was straight out of Dress to Kill. He would have happily killed me. But it all turned out good. It all turned out really good.
I imagine Lloyd more of a Tootsie, just by his hair itself, you know.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, he's he's funny as hell. Oh, he's good though. He's good. He's a sport, I'll tell you. He didn't not do it. He did it with everything he had. So you
Professional.
gotta credit where credit is due. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. And that movie's pretty wild. Like, it's not for the squeamish at all. There's a character in the movie, not mine. Mine has a whole nother thing going on. Basically, the story is my child, who I'm like a 9-month pregnant street prostitute, and the pimp, who's Lloyd and my pimp, same. What a stable this guy has. Let me tell you, like he's got quite the stable. And so he's mad. So he rips out the fetus because it's money. Like
Yeah,
it's costing him money to have me in the situation. Rips out the fetus and he puts it in the garbage bin. Well, it survives.
sure.
And of course, as it would in these movies, a homeless guy kind of picks it up and brings it up, and it's got all of these things from like the hanger scratches all over his face.
Yeah,
He grows up for revenge against his father because I'm long gone. I died during that whole thing, and Lloyd, well, probably passed at some point in the craziness with the very bad pimp,
sure,
but
sure.
the fetus got revenge on dad in the end. So
So,
there you go.
and why would that not come up when I asked you what the weirdest thing you did on
I
set
don't know,
was?
because you know what it is, Joe. There are so many things that I've done that are insane and wild to describe them that my mind just kind of goes, they're all like at this point, well, they're all pretty normal. But once I start talking about them, I'm okay, well, yeah, this is different. Okay, this is different. So that's why,
All
Joe,
right, fair enough.
this is my life we're talking about. It's crazy.
Well, it is a joy to hear about, and I want to tell you that right now.
Oh my God. Well, I tell you, and yeah, that was so, but I didn't even tell you, okay, side character. I have to finish telling you about this movie though, because
Please.
that is not the most outrageous thing that happens. To me, this is another character in the movie gets, can I say this on your show? I mean, it's really graphic. Can I say anything?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. If you guys
Okay.
are squeamish, maybe skip ahead 30 seconds.
Skip ahead because this is outrageous. But
Sure.
this is in the movie, so I'm just repeating this. A character who's unwell and has a colostomy bag runs into this pimp guy, has like a thing with him. They have some sort of an argument, and the pimp rips it out and forces something, let's just say that, into the colostomy bag hole. I'm not kidding you. Okay, so this comes from a time, this needs to be said, in the what was it? Close to 2010, maybe 2009 or somewhere around there, where that whole like really graphic torture porn was just blown up.
Yeah.
And not that
Human
Ryan,
centipede, saw, all them.
all that stuff. And Ryan would not, deviate. He's no longer with us, but he wouldn't deviate anyway. That was what he wanted to do. He worked on massively huge budget, multi-million dollar movies, special effects. But when he made his own, they were all special effects driven, like all the stuff that his mind came up with. Which
Yeah.
special effects people, by the way, are some of the most craziest motherfuckers ever. Like in their imagination, they have great imaginations as far as like writing wild stuff. It's all the stuff that they want to do, stuff that no one will let them do until they can do it. So it's good.
I love that.
Interesting.
Yeah, in my mind, there's always been two kinds of slasher type films, and that is the one that tries to do something unique with the story, and then the one that doesn't really matter. It's all about the kills. Like
Mm,
it's an insane guy. He wears a mask. Don't worry about it. But look, we
right.
used a paper cutter to cut off this person's hand and then
Yes.
feed it to him. Like
Yeah.
that. That's why, because someone in the special effects department always wanted to see someone eat a hand. Oh, okay. Guess that's what we're doing.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. That's it. That's it. And yeah, it's all in the delivery, your commitment, the delivery. I mean, I'm down with everything. Like just it doesn't bother me. Like I'm not one to be okay with some things and then that's not okay for, whatever reason. I say, film is the place where pretty much anything goes. It's not like there's absolutely no boundaries, but I think it should be the space where you could be creative and you can be, do the stuff that you want to do. And guess what? You don't have to ever watch it. That's the beauty of it. You can skip that one and see completely different movie. Do I think there are lines? There are lines to cross that you can't cross, that you shouldn't cross. But with that being said,
Well, like I was saying, all art is subjective, and I think I agree. I mean, 100%. I don't think I 100% agree with you that everything has its place, and if it's not your thing, it's okay to just not watch it. You don't have to try to make it not exist.
yeah, you don't have to do that at all because, if I don't relate to rom-coms because, I had a very rough upbringing. I grew up, on the street until I could, get a job and I mean all sorts of horrible things happen. And if I find people who are like so wealthy that they don't have to think about things like, paying a restaurant bill or something like that. And that's not being like, rich hating, but it's just like, I have it in me to like, I just don't relate, which is also probably why I never went after those kind of movies. And if I ever did, like way back early, probably was never hired because it wasn't really connecting on some level, there
Sure.
wasn't sort of a good, connection there. because I may have looked like the girl next door, but my what I was relating to on a deeper level was more high crisis stuff, you know. So, but yeah, I mean, I make rom-coms every day, every night. I mean, I'm personally not going to see them, but I know that they make a lot of people happy. So, leave our crazy ass shit alone too.
Yeah, man, more power to them.
Don't be out there, you know, with your little picketing of Silent Night, Deadly Night. What are you doing?
You know, one of my favorite stories was a Christian group was protesting Kevin Smith film in 1999, which was all about Christianity, called Dogma. And
Yep.
he famously went to a local theater and protested his own film with them.
I love it. I love it. See? He's got the right spirit. He's got a great spirit for this
What?
stuff. I love it.
Well, you mentioned briefly that you basically you started off with a little rough on the streets, and you
Mhm.
actually ended up being a featured extra in Paramount's Ladies and Gentlemen, the Fabulous Stains,
Mhm.
and that's what actually got your start. Everything I read, it just said, "Oh, it accidentally happened." How did this accidentally happen? What got you on that film?
Like and you're talking literally.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it was something as simple as there was a, okay, taking sort of a long story, making, streamlining it would be there was a fellow that I knew. He was a gay man. His name was Jamie. The reason I say that is because, you know, when I say he would let me sleep on his couch once in a while, I do literally mean that. And he was very good friends with some of like the drag performers around, so he like had sort of a little bit of a finger on you know, what was going on in town. And this is before the big Vancouver, BC film boom, before what you see now. There had
early
just
'80s.
been, yeah, like it just was not happening. The only movie that had happened, not literally, but the only movie that had happened previous to Ladies and Gentlemen was Out of the Blue, directed by Dennis Hopper, which ironically is also a punk rock movie. Um, and that had just been shot. So he had heard that Paramount was coming to town and doing this big movie with some unknowns, you know, Diane Lane and folks like that at the time, unknowns. Um, and they were looking for like extras for like 3 months. You'd get like $300 a week cash every Friday. They paid you cash then because, you know, it was 79, 80 when they were shooting. That's the way it was then. And all you had to do was Lynn Caro, who became a massive, huge casting director in Vancouver, was the casting director. She had sort of this big suite at the Denman Inn, big fancy hotel in downtown on the West End in Vancouver. And you just showed up there. She took a Polaroid. Are you willing to dye your hair? Yes. Are you free during this time? Yes. Yeah. Pretty free, I'd say. And do you have a phone? No. Can you call me? Yes. Yes, I can do that. I could figure that out. Figure that one out. And it was like quite simply like that. Just went in, had a couple Polaroids taken, couple questions, and just because of that uh tip that I'd been given from another sort of underground counterculture character. Hey, go down there. And I did.
Well, they always say it's who you know or just what you stumble into, to be fair.
Yeah. Truth. Truth. Absolutely true. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, we hit the beginning, and now let's jump all the way to the end. Last year, you did a movie called Flesh of the Unforgiven.
Yeah.
Would you tell me a bit about that? Because I came across that on Tubi, and I haven't watched it yet. And what am I in store for?
Oh, wow. Yes. Okay. So good. They just licensed it. So that's fantastic. It's up there. Um, Joe Hollow, that I had made a couple, well, one movie, sorry, a few years back with, um, had other things happen. And so he was away from the film business for a little while. and he had this great script that wasn't super, it was complicated in texture, but it wasn't complicated in like special effects or things that would cost a lot of money. And so he had contacted me and he says, I've got this great vision for this story about this couple, a middle-aged couple. They're going through a lot of stuff and they go away sort of like a semi vacation, but he's got this writing deadline and all this really bad stuff starts happening. Sounds like a Stephen King story, not that far from it, but it's nothing to do with that. He watches this a VHS tape that his agent has given him. He has this incredible deadline. We're fighting. All sorts of weird stuff goes really dark. And I don't want to give too much away because if I say more, I'm afraid that I'll give it away. But it's a very unique, unusual. You kind of have to put it in horror, but it's also like sort of mystical demons, some demon mythology in there.
Sure.
So it's not, you know, just a slash 'em up type of horror movie. It's more of like a, for the middle-aged folks who like a good story. There's also some very attractive young people in it too. So don't worry about that. We got
Well,
that covered.
that's always helpful.
And that's always a good thing. Hell, that's always a good thing. But yeah, just really acting intensive, shot in the mountains of Quebec
Ooh.
in February. It was
Oh my God.
freezing.
Yeah.
Tons
How
of
did you
snow.
survive?
It was kind of brutal, but yeah, everything you see is like that. We were on it, staying in this sort of Airbnb type of place, a couple places side by side. One of the places we were standing and shooting a scene, looked down on a frozen lake, and there really was hockey players down there, like kids. And I was thinking, wow, like you couldn't, if you planned this, it wouldn't look this good. So an awful lot of things came together, awful lot of things. And yeah, very proud of the movie, very proud that it's out, and proud of Joe for pulling this over the finish line because it was not done with a boatload of money. It was done with it was just done with determination, like
Sure.
sheer determination on his part. And he really did it. And you know what? The reason he pulled it off was because it was months of pre-production. That's another thing. Please, anybody does anything. Doesn't have to be a movie. It could be like a show, investigation, paranormal or true crime or whatever you want to fill in the blank. It's all in your prep. Everything's in your
Ugh.
prep is how it's going to turn out.
My wife is a producer and she always says, fix it in pre. Fix it in post
Yes.
is the worst thing you can say.
I love her. I love her. And this is proof of that. And time again, you'll see the same outcome. You can't fix everything in post.
No, you
You
definitely
can you
can.
can prepare for everything possible because there'll still be stuff that happens. But yeah, your wife is right. 1,000% right.
Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us and being a part of the show. Is there any final thoughts you have or want to share before we let you go?
Yeah, just a couple things. I mean, I'll try to keep it short, but I'm very excited about a few things. So, I've been working on segments of Jonah with Tommy, the director, for a couple of years now. Lynn Lowry's in it with me. So we shot our final scenes after a couple of years of shooting. And I'm really excited about that movie. Did my last pickups for The Power of Positive Murder, Lloyd's latest black and white noir based on the book Crime and Punishment. Black and white.
Wow,
Lloyd
Lloyd's
doing
getting fancy.
I am telling you, this is going to be like nothing. It's really sort of a Gloria Swanson type of a role. And she's just this really evil landlord that the main lead male character becomes obsessed with killing because she's so vile. Like so much fun. I got to speak with a mid-Atlantic accent like they used to in the
Hmm.
movies. Not English, not American, but that weird hybrid that everybody's spoken for that period of time
Yeah.
where they said, okay, you gotta speak like this.
Remember to tip your
So
hat, doll.
and that, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's wild. I'm so proud of that performance. And I mean, there's a few other ones as well. I mean, I did View from the Edge, Our Man Funk. I did A Wonderful Day of Shooting on Poltergeist 2, directed by Mercedes. My scenes were with Mark Torgel, who was in the original Toxic Avenger. So much fun. Yeah, just Human Hibachi 3, The Last Supper, that's coming out by the end of the year. There's so many fun things that I know I have forgotten something that's going to make me sad, but just, I think the real bottom line is go to my website, debbierochon.com, and check it out. Please, if you can, pick up Videoscope magazine and support, indie magazines. It's been around since the 90s, but I have a great column in there, coming out in the stands about 2 weeks from now. The Rochon Report. Check it out.
Sounds fantastic. So, you know what? Thanks again for being with us. And from everyone here at Earthling Entertainment, see ya.
See ya.
So, come on. Wasn't she nice?
Oh my gosh, dude. What a great interview. That was incredible.
What's funny is I did so much research and I looked up all these movies that she did and I was trying to do as much preparation as I could. You can't prepare with that many credits. So she just kept bringing up other movies and I'm like, oh, I guess I didn't do enough research. And I'm thinking,
dude,
I'm writing it down. I'm like, I have a list of movies to watch now.
I'm not going to hold it against you. Over 270 films. Absolutely incredible work. Crazy career.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a genre fan, if you're a horror fan, a horror comedy fan, even if you don't know it, you've seen something with her in it. And my God, what a phenomenal person. And I'm very happy to have her on the show.
Yes, thank you very much for coming to her. Oh my gosh.
I knew what you meant. I mean, it was perfect for Halloween, dude. I mean, come on, right?
Oh, dude, yeah.
We're having a lot of guests lately. I'm enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it as well. Spooky season is upon us, and spooky people are out there who do amazing work and are super talented, and we couldn't be more honored. This is awesome.
Yeah, and if you think that's cool, just wait until you see who we have coming down the pipeline.
Ooh.
But for this show, sadly, we've reached the end.
No.
I know. But guys, did you enjoy it? Please download the episode if you did. It is the best way to support the show.
Yes.
And Ryan has a mission for you.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to share this podcast with a friend, with a coworker, with your grandma. Grandmas love Earthling Entertainment.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
We don't know why, but they do. It's true.
Well, Ryan, I hope you make it to back from the cruise safely so we could record our new episode next week. But in any case, survive and see ya.
Goodbye.
Hopefully not forever.
Yeah. Well, I'm on a boat.
Yeah.
I'm on a boat.
Like I said, if Cthulhu shows up, you're done. By the way, there's this movie that came out a few years ago. It was called Underwater, and one of T.J. Miller was in it, but also it starred Kristen Stewart, and it came off as a normal kind of underwater monster film, and it just seemed like a fun little thing. And spoiler for this film, if you don't want to know, just skip. The show's over. It's fine. The end, there's fucking Cthulhu, dude. It ends where they are escaping from the escape pod and they look and there's a giant Cthulhu destroying their underwater base. It is so dope.
Well, it's Cthulhu. Just well, dang.
Well, HP Lovecraft my ass off.
I heard that. Do you remember that terrible movie Bird Box?
I liked Bird Box.
I mean, at
they
the
even
time
had a
I did.
sequel.
Really?
Yeah, it was called Bird Box Barcelona. It took place in Spain.
I had no idea, but no, in that they say Cthulhu was the main antagonist in that, and it was hinted by the certain demons they showed. I don't know. I saw someone break it down when it came out, after it came out, and I was just like,
they're saying the origins
okay.
were Lovecraftian.
Yes, it was definitely Cthulhu.
Elder gods. I just know that they did some makeup tests of what the monsters would look like, even though you never see them on the film. And it was some weird baby-faced demon thing.
I hate baby-faced demon things.
You know what I hate?
What?
Saying goodbye.
I know, we haven't been good at it today.
No. Well,
We'll give it another shot here. Let's see.
bye.
Bye.